Good morning, students. This is your Energy Transformations Prezi. Be sure to review this. You do have a test tomorrow, and your WIS presentations are due right before the test, as always. This particular week, we reviewed that there are 7 types of energies, and we got to do some class projects with most of them. Chemical energy. Last week we saw thermal energy, we saw heat energy, light, solar, mechanical, sound, and electrical. And our review begins by explaining that reminding you that chemical energy is stored in batteries. Electricity is not stored in batteries. Chemical energy is stored in batteries. Heat, we've already tested you on radiation, conduction, and convection, and those are the 3 ways that heat energy moves. Light also travels, and it either is refracted, sorry about that, or absorbed, and I got that from Gustavo. Solar energy is radiated by the sun, okay? It's energy that comes to us from the sun. Sound energy travels in waves, and we'll see a little bit more in depth right now as the presentation goes along. Mechanical energy, we had seen this from a while back, and mechanical energy is energy that is created by our own physical movement or by physical movement. And finally, electrical energy is available or becomes available to us, this type of energy, by the flow of electric charges through a conductor, okay? To begin with, you need to understand that when we saw the battery, we focused on 3 parts of the battery. You had the cathode, which was the positive end. We saw the anode, which was the negative end. And in the middle of those 2 sections, you saw the electrolyte section. And the electrolyte section is a section, it's a liquid or gel section that contains ions in there. And that middle section prevents the electrons from going straight to the cathode. Remember off of our video, those electrons in the anode had to follow a circuit back to the cathode. They couldn't go directly. The section that prevents that is the electrolyte section. And because the electrons flow out through the anode, which is the negative end, anytime you have electricity being produced by batteries, the electricity flows from the negative to the positive end, from anode to cathode, okay? And it follows a circuit, it follows a path, it follows a conductor. And just a little tip that you should be aware of, batteries that release the most electrical energy, those are the most efficient batteries. And I think that you and I discussed which were the most efficient batteries in class. Light behaves just like heat. Light behaves in a different manner. And whenever light hits, or the light rays hit a smooth or shiny surface, we learned that they don't necessarily bounce back, but I think that's the term that everybody is familiar with. And you can see a couple of pictures here how light behaves on a couple of different surfaces. You've got a smooth surface. You see that the light comes in at a certain angle and it leaves at the same angle. Okay, we talked about that briefly in class. Whenever it hits rough surfaces or surfaces that are not smooth and shiny, you see the way that the light behaves, which is a little different from this picture. Anytime that light hits a medium, in this case water, anytime light hits a medium, it hits that same angle that's coming in, okay? It hits the medium, and if the medium is transparent like water, it goes through, but the light ray does not follow that same angle, okay? It bends. And here you can see that that's why the pencil in our class was distorted, because of the way the light rays are hitting the water. Because the light ray is bending, this appears to be bent as well, distorted, broken. That light behavior is called refraction. You recall this video that we saw just yesterday? Please be sure to review it. I included it on here. Solar energy is energy that is harnessed from the sun. Okay, it's harnessed using a solar cell or a panel. and it is used to produce electricity in our time. So please be familiar with the processes. Today we're going to build a solar model. So I'm very confident that you'll understand what the processes are, but please be familiar as you will be asked to recreate on the test. Sound energy is not something that we covered very much in depth in class, but here's something that you need to remember. Sound travels by the means of waves. Okay, you can see a picture of a sound wave here. A sound, anytime that you that these wave-like patterns start to move, is because energy caused them to move that way, and they will move in this particular pattern. Okay, you've got the up and down motion, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Sound, you should know, that travels through air and through liquids. Okay. However, it is harder to hear through a liquid than it is to hear through air. You and I, or you are able to hear me because my sound waves are traveling through the air into the microphone. If I was doing this presentation through water, it would be much more difficult for you to hear. I think you would hear more gargling noises more so than my clear voice. You have to remember that anytime that you're trying to have a sound wave go through a dense object, through a thick object, through a heavy object, such as a concrete wall, such as 10 books put together. Anytime the sound wave, even though it will travel, you're not going to be able to hear the sound very much through dense objects. So you should know that. Here, just briefly, these are the parts to a sound wave, okay? From here to here is the wavelength, and I'm sure that you guys are familiar, or at least have heard these terms spoken about before. The amplitude part of the wave is the wave that is located beneath this line, and so I just wanted to show you what the pattern looks like. Okay. Mechanical energy, we've spoken about this over and over again. The reason that you can pedal a bike and it can take you from point A to point B is because you are using your own feet to produce that kind of motion. Strumming the guitar, the reason that sound energy comes out of this guitar is because you are plucking the strings with your own fingers. Okay, mechanical energy, energy that is created by physical movement. Electricity, we see electrical discharges in the sky through a thunderstorm. And you should know that what's going on in the sky from cloud to cloud or cloud to ground, you've got electrical charged regions up there. It all has to do with electrons, okay? Hence the term electricity. Whenever you observe that you've got all these wires in class, per se, at home, that are plugged into an outlet, the reason that you're able to, the reason that electricity is produced is because electrons are moving through the wires. Okay, electrons, the flow of electrons are going back, are moving through these wires. Therefore, electricity is produced. In conclusion, okay, I've put in a small video from our dear friend the coyote and his incessant pursuit of the roadrunner, and you will see different energy transformations through this video. It talks about potential and kinetic energy, gravitational energy, or gravitational potential, which I hope that you remember, and it will be a good review of the different types of energy, as potential and kinetic energy are types of energy as well. I hope you enjoy, and thank you for watching. Your whisk is due Wednesday morning. Have a great day.